Yeah. Yes, we have two great moderators. First, we have Lizette Del Pino. She's a senior this year. She's been leading FLITE this year through this Zoom type of virtual semester and 2 semesters we've had. So I'm excited for her to come on and share a little bit about her. Then after her, we have Brandy Pineda. She has done a wonderful job working with PennFlash. She is also one of the co-founders of FLITE. So it'll be interesting for her to come back and see Jessie. So I'll ask these two to introduce themselves and then we'll get rolling. Go ahead, Lisette.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for coming. My name is Lisette Albino. So I use she, hers, her. So I graduate in May 2021. I study math and flight. I mean, it's a great way to get involved. You want to learn about careers in tech and engineering, especially for FGLI identifying students. Yeah, I myself will be working as a data analyst next year. So if you have any questions about that in particular, just feel free to ask me. Yeah, nice to meet everybody.
Hi, welcome. I am in Houston, Texas. My name is Brandy Pineda. I am an undergraduate in the college. I study linguistics. As Toys mentioned, I co-founded FLITE a few years ago. Also, we also have my pronouns are she, her, hers, and I will graduate at some point in the future. And let's see what else. So my interest in technology and programming and things like that came externally out of the classroom. But it's something that I'm passionate about, which is one of the reasons why I wanted to get involved with FLITE. So same goes, like, yes, we are a student group for first generation and low income students that want to, pursue or have interest in technology and engineering, but that doesn't mean you have to be in the engineering school. That doesn't have to mean that you take every single SIS class or every bioengineering class. So with that in mind, feel free to reach out to us if you're interested in joining. And with that, I will pass it back to Toys.
Yeah. So, because I like to hear myself talk, right? Just kidding. No, let's go ahead, students. Go ahead, Lizette. Take it away. Let's get going with the questions.
Yeah, no, thank you so much, Toys. We're super excited to be here, and we're super excited to actually have our alumni back to share a little bit of what they've learned. So first, Toshe, would you mind introducing yourself, telling us your major while you were at Penn, what year you graduated, and the details of what you're involved in now?
Sure. Hi, everyone. My name is Tosha. I am so happy to be here right now. I was telling everyone earlier that I love the GIC, so it's really great to be here. So I graduated in 2017. I was in the college. I studied international relations and African studies. Post-grad, I started at Disney, at the Walt Disney Company. I was doing finance and strategy for about 3 years. And so I was working with, my team supported Walt Disney Imagineering. And so they're the people that like build all of the attractions, the parks, the resorts, the hotels that we, or Disney had. And we were tasked with helping them make sure that their projects came to life within a scope, within a budget, and within scale. And that was really, really exciting. I actually just left last month to start my company or pursue my company / my startup full time. And my startup is called You Include, and it's all about increasing workplace diversity. And so what we do is we use machine learning algorithms to identify biased language and recruitment material that deters marginalized groups from applying for roles. So we are knee deep in our research process right now. We have a really incredible researcher on board working with us. And the goal is to, like I said, increase workplace diversity using technology. So that is me.
Thank you so much for sharing that with us. Yeah, that's incredibly exciting. Toys?
Yes, so Jesse will go now. Go ahead, Jesse.
Hey, okay. Nice to meet you all. I'm Jesse. My pronouns are he, his, him. I'm very excited to be here today. I was one of the co-founders for FLITE with Brandy and some of the others. And currently I'm a software engineer at Facebook working on machine learning and AI with privacy. Facebook does a lot with like privacy currently, and they need a team to like make sure that we know like which features from like which machine learning models are being used and to protect user privacy data. And oh yeah, and then I'm also on the side helping out a nonprofit called Rise First. I'm not sure if any of you heard of it, but I'm running like the tech side of it, and they're a nonprofit that provides resources to FGLI students, like hard resources, and also we're trying to create more soft resources like professional networking. So that's kind of my two main projects right now. I studied computer science and statistics. I graduated from Penn last year, 2020. So I'm still a pretty recent new grad. So feel free to ask me any questions. A lot of the FGLI experiences with like computer science and engineering is still really fresh in my head.
Thank you, Jesse. Thank you, Toshe. So we'd like to start off this conversation with asking you both, how is it that, you were at Penn, what is it that you did there that kind of launched you, or that you found the opportunities that landed you to where you are right now, I guess. And I can rephrase that if needed as well. Jesse, if you'd like to go first.
Yeah, I guess there's like a lot of things that kind of culminated into where I am now. I guess
Okay, where are you going?
Starting from like freshman year, I guess. I think what helped me most was finding a good core group of friends to make sure that like that share passions with me, to share like academic interests, and who can also like help you out when you're struggling, or who can support you when you're like, I don't know, like struggling academically or professionally, even personally. I think having a core group of friends at Penn is really helpful, especially those that might share academic interests. And then another thing too is to leverage, I guess, having a group of friends also, when you have like a lot of different minds like bounce ideas off of, you start to learn more about different opportunities at Penn. For example, it was through my friends I learned about the GIC, or through my friends I learned about research, or through like these through my friends I learned about like, different like professional opportunities, or how to like interview. So I think, use this time at Penn to like find as many different people to talk to as possible. Like even being like a new like a graduate now, it's actually I kind of miss like having so many people that like share similar interests at once, like nearby. And so I'd definitely encourage you all to leverage the opportunities that you have, and just to meet more people, students, peers, professors, just anyone, faculty. I think the resources here are like amazing, and I think it's really good to take the to leverage all of them.
Thank you, Jesse. Yeah, I think leveraging leveraging our social resources around us is definitely super important. Easier advice than it is to follow, I think. I think we both learned that, yeah, as well. Toshe, do you want to add on to that, please?
Sure. I think I'll start by saying that when I was at Penn, I was very confused. I came in having like dreams of being a public servant. I was like so passionate about public policy and education. And that's what like all of my essays were about. And I was so sure that I was gonna like make an impact in the public service space. And then I got to Penn, and I don't know if this is still the culture at Penn, but the like we're in and the business pressure kind of like permeates the entire university. And so like you are almost made to feel like going into business is like the only or the right path. And that really like messed with me and a lot of people, because I found that a lot of us kind of abandoned our original passions and desires and loves and pursued business because we felt like that's what we needed to do to be successful. And so I was really just trying to find a way to integrate both my like public policy and education passions and interests with my desire to kind of just like at least explore the business world and like the careers that the business world had to offer. And ultimately, I decided, I think what helped me was like just making a decision to do what I like to do rather than what I felt like I should do. And so I'm also the type of person that likes a lot of different things. I just like a lot of different things. So choosing international relations afforded me with that ability to um, explore different subject matters through my major. International relations is a very, very interdisciplinary major. We, have political science classes, history classes, econ classes. And so that was perfect for me because it, again, allowed me to explore a lot of different things. And a lot of people who did international relations, like people went into different fields after. Like some people went into business, some people went to law school. So I knew that that major will give me like the flexibility to choose what route I wanted to go into when I was ready to make that decision. So yeah, I think just like giving myself the room to explore was what helped me get here and what continues to help me along like my career journey and my just personal journey in general. Ultimately, I decided to, of course, like go into finance. But that was really because I knew that it would give me the skill set to be, I guess, marketable and to do almost anything afterwards. Um, and so like it wouldn't pigeonhole me, right? Because I thought I wanted to do public policy and like go into education, but like what if I went into it and I decided that I actually hate it, and then I'm kind of like pigeonholed in the public policy space. So I just knew that like having finance skills and knowledge will give me the opportunity to like go into something completely different afterwards if I decided that like finance wasn't for me, or like I actually do love public policy. And now I have this like amazing like sought out skill set that um, that like any business, any corporation kind of values, if that makes sense. So that is my journey. Yeah, so basically, long story short, giving myself like the space to explore and kind of letting go of the shoulds and focusing on like what I actually like doing. And then afterwards, when I was ready to make a decision about what career I wanted to pursue, focusing on something, especially if you're not sure, right? Like, especially if you like a lot of different things, focusing on something that will give me skill sets, will give me the ability to learn, so that when I do know exactly what I want to do, I have valuable skill sets to offer any business or organization.
Thank you so much, Tosha and Jesse. Those were perfect. Like, they were great answers. Thank you. Yeah, I think I can really relate to what Tosha was saying in particular. I also felt pretty lost when I first came to Penn. I ended up finding out that I wanted to major completely in pure math. When I joined, I believe it was a logic puzzle club, but it also doubled as a mentorship program, and to kind of get people interested in pure math or pure computer science. And from there, I just kind of fell into what I'm doing now, which is like learning about machine learning and data science. So thank you for that. It's definitely good to explore and get a sample of what you can do. I guess this is a more particular version of the first question, but could you name one particular activity that you did during your undergraduate years, whether it be like one work study job or a space that you visited or some research that you did with a certain professor that really helped you get to where you are now? Let's see. Tosha, can you answer first?
Ooh, I have to think about that for a second. I'm gonna pass it on to Jesse.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, it's hard to choose one, but I guess there is one standout. I encourage you all, when I say leverage resources, to also leverage student clubs here. I think there are some amazing student clubs. And also, just to echo back on like being lost and like trying to figure out what to do, I think there's a lot of value in being open-minded and still searching, right? Like your major, like your career, your life is it's kind of like a restaurant menu, and you can pick one and stick with it forever, or you can try around and see like which options you like the best, right? And I think when you look around, I think you end up with a better option at the end of the day. As for clubs, there's one in particular. It's called the Student Federal Credit Union. It was a club that like it's a student-run credit union at Penn, and it's an actual like a credit union is like a bank. It's like a non-for-profit, and what they do, like they're actually certified. And when I joined the tech team, and the information science team on that organization was actually it wasn't in like good shape, but I think the fact is, for me, like the fact that I joined an organization and like a team when it was like small and still trying to figure out what it was allowed me to like gain a lot of experiences trying to lead the team in a certain direction and lead the organization in a certain direction, right? And so I actually encourage you. I think there's a lot of the pre-professional culture kind of pervades clubs at Penn, and people feel the pressure to join all like the highly competitive ones. But I think there's a lot of clubs at Penn, especially the ones that maybe aren't so competitive, that probably will bring you better opportunities to learn more about how to grow as an individual and how to leverage your skills within an organization. What made that club so particularly important to me and so effective was it allowed me to, I could have done pretty much anything I wanted. And so a lot of my activities there were me trying out new machine learning models that I learned from class on some of the data that they had, right? And I don't know how else I would have been able to do something that cool, right? And then also like to grow and hire team members to like help me out on those projects. I think that those are like, I don't think I would have gotten opportunities elsewhere. And that was probably one of the most, I've been with that organization for like 3 to 4 years, and it was probably one of the most formative experiences. And I think for all of you, I'd encourage you to look for organizations that you can help grow and that you can experiment around with and grow not only the organization, but you as a person, both through like your leadership skills, but also through like your technical or engineering skills too. And I'm sure if you look around, there's a lot of opportunities that Penn does that.
Thank you, Jesse. Yeah, please go ahead. Yeah. If you need a few more minutes, it's okay as well.
Oh no, I completely agree with what Jesse said. It's hard to choose just one because there were just a lot of wonderful like clubs and organizations that I was a part of. So I will say two. The first one is, or I guess this is my general advice. The best thing I did was found safe spaces, but also spaces that brought me out of my comfort zone and that stretched me. I think both are equally as important. So for me, my safe spaces were the GIC, of course, and MACU. I was a work study student at MACU, which is the Black Cultural Center, all 4 years. And those are the spaces that like caught me when I fell and helped me through the really, really challenging moments that you inevitably have when you or experience when you were at Penn. The staff were wonderful, lovely, so helpful, and so committed to like the well-being and the success professionally and personally of all of the students, but also like you find like-minded people there and people who understand your lived experiences as a person of color or as a first-generation student or as a low-income student. So those safe spaces were so incredibly important. And I assume that if you're a part of the GIC, the GIC is probably your safe space. So it's really great that you have this space, and I definitely encourage you all to leverage it. But again, equally as important is to find spaces, clubs, organizations that force you out of your comfort zone. Like college is a very pivotal time in your life, right? Like you want to grow, you want to become a better version of yourself. And one of the best ways to do that is to kind of try to like improve the areas in which you are kind of weak in, or like, you know, that improve your weak points, and make those things that you're weak in your strength if you can. And so for me, that was public speaking. When I came to Penn, I was very shy, and I hated public speaking. I hated anything that had to do with like just talking to an audience or like even a group. And so I knew that that was something I needed to break out of. One, because we were doing like tons of presentations in our classes and I couldn't like skip out on them. Like I had to do these presentations. And two, I knew that when I got to the real world, I would have to do more presentations, which was true. Like when I was at Disney, I had tons of presentations to like analysts and executives alike. And so that was something I really, really wanted to improve on during my time at Penn. And so I joined an organization, which was also like a work study called QUIC, which is communication within the curriculum. And that forced me to like, one, it was a class where they just taught you public speaking skills. And then two, part of the class was to like actually go out and make presentations at different classes, or in different classes. And that kind of just like threw me into the deep end and like forced me to figure it out and swim. And now I'm just like a lot more comfortable with public speaking. So yeah, find safe spaces and find organizations and clubs and activities that force you to grow and be stretched and become a better version of yourself.
Thank you, Tosha and Jesse. I wanted to answer, so just summarizing. So both of you recommend finding places that are welcoming. Sometimes it's going to be smaller clubs or work study spaces where you're still forced to work on what you're weakest in. Sort of, I think that's what you were getting at. I also agree with that. And I do have another question. Do either of you have any non-traditional career advice that you've learned in this past year? I know a lot of the advice that we're currently giving is advice for a different world where you can still interact with people face to face. I feel like people are a little bit lonelier now. It's a little bit hard to connect over the screen, and recruiting looks a little different. I've experienced that firsthand this year. So I guess, do you have any non-traditional career advice? Is there anything FGLI students can do to improve their chances of finding meaningful employment after graduation, in your opinion? I guess Jesse can start.
Yeah, I guess my advice isn't so much related to COVID, but just like more general. I guess everyone kind of already hinted at this when they say that, you know, at Penn, there's this like business pre-professional culture that makes you want to, or forces you to, or encourages you to like do the well-trodden path of finding like a good job and like, or a good internship and then everyone gets stressed about that. And I don't know, it's just when I feel like, and also that kind of also is now starting to affect engineering as well, where a lot of engineers also feel like they need to get a really good job at like a big tech firm. I guess my advice would be that shouldn't be like the primary goal, right? I hope that everyone here is doing engineering because they like to do engineering. And if you don't, I guess like everyone else hinted or kind of already mentioned, you know, like go explore other options and do things that you enjoy. And I know that you need to balance, especially since we're all FGLI students, you have to balance it all with being practical as well and finding, and there's some pressure of finding a job to pay off your bills and to pay off and to manage a lifestyle. But I think at the end of the day, if you enjoy what you're doing, the job should come kind of naturally. I know I kind of got lucky, but I feel like that's from my personal experience and from the friends I talk to, the people that enjoy engineering for what it is do much better than those who do engineering to get a good job. And I feel like when you're authentic with your work, a lot more better outcomes come into play at the end, rather than just focusing on achieving a good outcome, right? I think that's like my biggest piece of advice is to enjoy what you do. And when you do enjoy what you do, like the side projects come naturally, the clubs that you look for come naturally, the professors in the classes and doing well in your classes, they all should come kind of naturally when you enjoy what you do. So I guess that's like, that's my biggest piece of advice.
I just want to cut in before Tosha also answers the question. I don't think you got lucky, Jesse. I think you're a good software engineer. You didn't get lucky. Yeah, just wanted to say that. And Tosha, feel free to.
Yeah, I completely agree with Jesse again. This time can be very stressful. I remember being very stressed when it came to like the process of like trying to find an internship and trying to decide what I wanted to do post grad. Especially again when you are a FGLI student, right? You have financial responsibilities, whether that's to yourself, like to sustain yourself, or even to your family. I know many students who are supporting their families, and so it's tough. I guess my advice to you is, well, for one, like you're already in a really, really great spot, right? You go to Penn. You are probably, hopefully, excelling at Penn, or even if you're just making it at Penn, like that's good enough. Penn is a very, very tough school, and I want to say almost with like full confidence that you will be fine, like regardless, right? I know even now, so many doors are open to me just because I go to Penn, and so I hope that in itself is like like it gives you a sense of comfort and eases the stress and anxiety and pressure that you may be feeling about like getting the right internship or getting the right job. I just want to tell you now that you will get it. You will get there. It'll be fine. It'll be more than fine. So try not to be too stressed about the process. I know that's easier said than done, but also, you know, just don't underestimate the value of exploring and doing things just because you like them, just because you like to do it. I talked earlier about like the process I went through about just letting go of the shoulds. Like I should go into to finance, or I should go into consulting, and just letting go of all of that and just thinking about like, what do I actually like doing and what do I want to learn? What do I want to gain from my post-grad experience or from my internship? That is so valuable, and it's still serving me now. Like, don't let go of that like natural curiosity and desire to explore that you probably do have. I fell into what I'm doing now, my startup, because I followed the things that I like doing. I was doing finance and strategy at Disney, and then I kind of just fell into data analytics. And I was leading a lot of the analytics projects and initiatives within my organization because, I mean, no one else knew how to do it. And I like just kind of dug into it a lot more purely because I liked doing it. And then I took a data science course or did a data science program at USC, again, because I liked doing it. And then my final project ended up turning into a startup because I like doing it. And so what I'm saying is, if you can, try to let go of the shoulds and give yourself the space and the room to do things because you like them. Because they may turn into a startup or like turn into something that you never imagined it turning into, or you may just learn a few things, and that in itself is okay and very valuable as well. So yeah, I think that's my advice. Try not to stress out too much. I know it's stressful, but like rest assured that you will get that job. You will be fine. You are in a really great spot. You're in a really great position. And then two, try to let go of the shoulds and allow yourself to explore and do things that you genuinely enjoy doing.
Thank you. Thank you both. I think those are both very thoughtful and genuine answers. So I really appreciate you both sharing that with us. So we're almost to the end of our time. So one final question, but it is a two-pronged question. So going off the assumption that you both identify as FGLI graduates, FGLI alums, have you found that your status as that has impacted how you maneuver your professional roles? If so, how? And if not, that's wonderful. And I think it's important to share that those spaces exist. And the second prong of that question is, what challenges have you faced during the pandemic as a first-gen professional? Jesse, if you want to go first.
Yeah, I think being a FGLI professional comes with both advantages and disadvantages. I guess I can start with like the challenges first. It does, especially with like COVID. Luckily, fortunately, a lot of my challenges aren't financial, even though I know a lot of people do struggle with that. I think for me, a lot of my struggles are probably more, I guess, like emotionally, I guess. I guess like a lot of FGLI students do grew up in an environment of a lot of stress, right? And honestly, that doesn't really leave even when you graduate Penn. It's still you still keep it, like it still occurs within you, like even after you graduate. And I feel like for me, like work has kind of been a little bit stressful when like it shouldn't have been, I guess, to like other people. A lot of that's like imposter syndrome too, which I think a lot of FGLI students do face a lot more, just because, you know, like I didn't grow up in this environment. I didn't grow up in like knowing that, or familiarizing myself with like places of like, I guess, like high excellence, right? And so it's kind of, you do feel like an outsider still, even when you do graduate into your starting entry job. I guess what helps there is to just understand that you got there because you deserved it, right? And to remind yourself of all the amazing things that you have done so far, that you did do at Penn and that you've done to get to the position that you are today. And so for me, I constantly, I guess, like remind myself that, you know, whenever I do get like imposter syndrome, that I'm scared of like failing, or I'm scared that like my boss will like figure out something that that I don't deserve this position. Like I know that's all kind of like crap at the end of the day, and that like, yeah, I worked hard for this. worked harder, in fact, than some of my peers, and I deserve to be where I'm at. And then the other thing too, so that's kind of like the challenges, but I think, and we already discussed this a lot, there's a lot of advantages of being a Figley student too, compared to, I guess, more privileged students at Penn. A lot of like the wealthier students at Penn, they do have a lot more social pressure, right? Especially from like their parents, who also who have this ideal of like what a what their children should go into. I think a lot of Figley students don't have as much of a social pressure. They do have financial pressures, but I guess the social pressure of, oh, you need to like get a job in finance, or you need to get a job in like big tech, that's not there as much. And so you are more open to explore, right? And at the end of the day, people who explore and end up doing something that they love will, I think, outlast and like do much better in the long term, right? In like decades, like time span, like do much better there, just because they're more passionate about their work at the end of the day, right? And so I think that's the one advantage that you all have, is that you kind of come in not knowing much, right, compared to like other students. But to some extent, that's a huge advantage, because that makes you more open-minded. That makes you more likely to figure out new things in life, and to figure out like new areas that you could work on, and to be more innovative. And that's something that, in my experience, that a lot of my more richer like friends don't really have the opportunity, because they have a lot of social pressures from their parents, right? And so I definitely encourage you all to, or remind you all that just to stay open-minded, and to make sure that at the end of the day that you figure out what you want to do, and why you like it so much.
Thank you, Jesse. That was such a thoughtful answer. You made some really good points there, including that Figley students have, in the long term, a more balanced view of their career, perhaps. I think that's what you were getting at. Thank you so much. So I think it is time, Figley's Rock. Thank you. I think it is time to open it up to Q&A. Yeah, it's 12:42. So if anybody has any answers, or Brandy, if you have an answer that you want to start the Q&A off with, go ahead, type them in the chat.
Yeah, so if anyone has any questions, I think some of our staff is going to help facilitate that. But before that, did you want to add anything, Toshe, in regards to the navigating, the professional world with kind of this underlying, part of our identities, I suppose?
Yeah, to be honest, it wasn't something I thought about on a daily basis. Previously, I mean, of course, you feel that imposter syndrome at times, and like those things come into play here and there. But I honestly didn't start. I thought about it in college when trying to choose a career, right? I was trying to make sure that I would be able to support myself post grad, because I mean, I needed to support myself, right? Like I couldn't rely on my parents to like buy me, take care of my apartment and all of the other expenses that I had. So that was really important for me post grad. And then once I started like earning an income, that became a little bit less of an issue, like just thinking about the fact that I am a Figley student. Like it wasn't at the top of my mind every single day, essentially. But recently, something that I'm thinking about a lot more now that I am pursuing my startup full time, right? I'm not earning an income because we are not revenue generating yet. And so there's that pressure, like just those thoughts that come into your mind about like not wanting to repeat the same cycles, and wanting to make sure that that I'm in a place where I'm financially stable and just not having to relive the same, just go through the same things that you go through when you're young and your parents don't have a lot of money, right? I mean, my parents are immigrants. I'm an immigrant myself. I immigrated when I was 6. And so, of course, like that came with its own set of challenges. And being low income was a part of my identity for a while. And so um, I I'm starting to feel a little bit more pressure about like just making sure that I don't repeat that cycle. Um, and I think what I've made a decision, what I've decided is that like if I need to stop this and start earning money, then that's what I need to do. And I think that's advice for you all as well. Like there's really no shame in choosing an opportunity that will pay you more. Like if that's what you need, then that's what you need. I remember being at Penn and there was like a lot of it was like almost two different worlds where like if you weren't going into business, you were kind of looked at sideways. But like in like the social impact space, if you chose business, it was almost like you were selling your soul. And so it was just like, okay, which one do I do? Like over here, they're judging me if I don't go into business or like do something that's high earning. And over here, they're judging me because I'm selling my soul. And I'm not like giving back to my community, right? And so long story short is like do what's best for you, especially as a FGLI student. Like if you need to take that Facebook position or BCG or whatever because it pays you more, then that's fine. And the two don't have to be mutually exclusive. Like you can do engineering or consulting or whatever it may be a for a large corporation, and you can still pursue your passions on the side. Like that's definitely what I did for my first 3 years at Disney. I was working at Disney and I was volunteering for an organization called Minds Matter, which I really love for a couple of years, and that like really was fulfilling to me, and I got the best of both worlds. So yeah, it's to be honest, it wasn't something that I thought about on a daily basis while I was earning an income. Now that I'm not earning an income, it's something that I'm thinking about a little bit more and just trying to make sure that I'm not repeating cycles. But again, if I need to leave to earn money, then I need to leave. And that is completely fine. And that should hopefully be encouraging for you as well. Like if you need to earn money, then you need to earn money, and that's okay.
Thank you, Tosha. Yeah, you make a good point. At the end of the day, you need to be able to like sustain yourself so you don't fall back into a similar cycle. So I do have a question, and before I ask it, I want to preface it with some points. So maybe this is an issue for a lot of like FGLI identifying students as well, but I can't really go to my family. I have no like family friends or family that can help me with my career progression. So I end up, okay, perfect. Yeah, that's what I was about to ask next. Thank you, Stephanie. I need to end up usually like seeing what my peers do or learning from like random materials I'll like read from different places. Yeah, I feel like the mentorship I have is not very like focused. And I think I'm gonna plug PennFlash really quick here. I had one of the best calls of my life. Like in the beginning with when PennFlash launched, I had a talk with um, an engineer who was working on WhatsApp, and he actually gave me that advice to try to like cut my teeth on smaller startups before moving to bigger companies. But I guess the question that I'm trying to ask is what is the nature of the mentorship in tech that you guys have received? How did you get it? Because usually you can't get it from your family or family friends. If you had any mentorship. I guess, yeah, Tosha.
Yeah, I personally did not have mentorship because I wasn't thinking about tech in college at all. Like I literally stumbled into the tech world again because I just followed my passions and my interests. So I can't give any advice on like tech mentorship, but I do remember being at Penn and even post grad, just leveraging the Penn alumni network. I talked to tons of people just to get a sense of what they did and if what they did was something I'd be interested in pursuing post grad. So I definitely encourage you all to like leverage that Penn network. People almost always say yes. Like whenever anyone from Penn reaches out to me, I always say yes because I mean, I feel like most alumni or alum just have so much love for the Penn community and really want to help both Penn students and Penn alumni. So reach out to the alumni network. And if you have a really great conversation, maybe ask that person to be your mentor and get into a like long-term mentor-mentee relationship with you.
Thank you, Tosha. Yeah, it's always good to reach out to your network. And what about you, Jesse?
Yeah, I guess it helps to like redefine mentorship because I think mentorship can come from anywhere, and it doesn't necessarily need to be the traditional definition of I guess someone older and wiser like telling you or you asking questions to someone older and wiser and them responding back with answers. I think let's set what you've been doing with like looking up answers online based on all the questions you have and looking up information from just different sources. I think that's amazing, and I think because of all the information that's available on the internet just throughout the past decade and what has happened on there, like I think mentorship should kind of be redefined to finding out different resources and information that is available online, uh, both I guess both online and also offline. So yeah, I think I also encourage everyone because for me, like a lot of my information, like you said, like I didn't have family, friends, or family that could help me out with my career. So a lot of that was looking up information online and figuring out how to like navigate the tech space that way. I guess for like more like in-person mentorship, a lot of my mentors were, I guess, my friends, like I said, or just people I've met in clubs. So I encourage everyone to like just meet more people, join more organizations, and just see what people are like and just ask them questions. I think when you ask more people questions, you get like better answers in terms of having more diverse answers, and also just I think a lot of my best tidbits of information were from other people that knew more about certain areas than I did, right? And if when you join more clubs, I guess you can also end up finding one way or another like more mentors or like official mentors, I guess, like in traditional sense too. I think Cindy's on this call. Like I met her through like an organization that I joined from that was introduced to me from a friend, and I've been learning a lot from her on different aspects of startups and business. And so yeah, I think when you naturally are interested in different areas and you join organizations, you meet people that introduce you to other people, and then that's how you find I guess mentors in the traditional sense. But I guess like also leverage resources like PennFlash too, that try to expedite that process.
Thank you so much. Yeah, but both your answers, Jesse and Tosha, were very insightful. You have to find non-traditional and traditional mentorship somehow. So we're coming to the end. It's 12:55. Brandy, do you have one last question, or should we start wrapping it up? What do you think?
I guess well, I think, this conversation can go on and on, but I definitely want to, bring up a point that would it be okay with the both of you if students reached out to you on PennFlash to continue the conversation? Or if there's another method for you to.
Mm-hmm. yeah, feel free to reach out to me, PennFlash or through email.
Or through email. Okay. Well, thank you so much. One final question would be, I just to be a little bit more lighthearted. What is, the ultimate advice that you've received at this point in your life? And it can be related to career, it can be related to tech, but also, it could also just be day-to-day living. So what would you both say to that? Either of you can jump in.
Yeah, I guess I can start. I guess enjoy life more. I feel like everyone's always trying to achieve something or get to some goal at the end of the day. And now that I've graduated, I realize I probably, I guess like I don't really have, I think Penn worked out for me quite well, but I guess what I wish I did more at the end of the day was to not be so ingrained in like the Penn culture of needing to do or achieve as many things as possible or to join as many clubs as possible. I think there's a lot of value of just, doing less and just enjoying life more. And I think I think time's valuable, right? And honestly, a lot of the things that people currently are doing that they think they need to do, they might not, right? And they might only be doing it because of social pressures that are kind of arbitrary at the end of the day. So yeah, definitely for me, and I'm trying to do it more now, is just relax and just, I guess, have more fun doing other things that you enjoy.
Yeah, my advice is very similar. This is advice for myself and advice for you all. Something I'm still trying to learn, which is to not allow yourself to be too consumed by getting to the destination. Definitely something I did at Penn, right? I was always thinking about like what I'm gonna do post grad and like just making sure I got the right opportunity. And I wish I allowed myself to just be a little bit happier and calm down a little bit more and enjoy my Penn experience a little bit more. Not to say that I didn't enjoy it. I had a great time at Penn. But I think I put a little bit too much pressure on myself. So, and it's something that that followed me post grad and something I'm still experiencing now, that I'm really trying to shake off. Like, I do not have to be consumed by my academic and my professional pursuits. You don't have to be consumed by your academic and your professional pursuits. Both can coexist, right? Like, you can pursue your academic goals or your career goals with intensity, and you can be happy at the same time and like enjoy your life and not make those pursuits, those goals your whole entire life. So I really encourage you to kind of find balance if you can, and don't let these 4 years pass without you enjoying your Penn experience and like just taking it all in. And it's easier to like try to work on that and try to learn that now, because if you are not careful, again, it'll follow you into your like adult life, like real full blown adult life. And at that point, it's even harder to kind of like let go of. So advice for you and advice for me is to pursue your goals with intensity, but also really enjoy your life, and allow yourself to be happy and take full advantage of everything that's around you and this amazing experience that you have.
Thank you so much. Oh my gosh, there were so many nuggets of wisdom, and we are at time, so we can continue this conversation on and on and on, but we are at the top of the hour. So I just want to thank
our guest speakers, our alumni, Tasha and Jesse. And then thank you so much for our student moderators, Brandy and Lisette, for leading this conversation. It was so powerful. And I hope that, all of the people who attended, faculty, staff, students, that you got something out of this. And thank you for contributing in the chat. There's so much collective wisdom among all of us. So thank you so much. As we come to a close, I'll hand it back to Toys to conclude our meeting, our event.
Real quick, I know if folks need to go, I understand, but I wanted to bring Valerie on because there were some other alums that I like her to introduce just so we can do from there. Go ahead, Valerie.
Hi, everyone. I am just in awe. Jesse, Toshe, the questions from Lisette and Brandy, you are all just so awesome. Every session I learned so much from, and the wisdom that you as young people have for each other is just mind-boggling. I know you will all be fine. I wanted you to know these alums who have come on the call: Jonathan, Dina, who left, Cindy Rentala, Leanne Hubner. You can find all of them on PennFlash. Please take Toshe and Jesse's advice. Utilize the people in your organizations. Use small organizations to build your skill sets. Look for small organizations, as Lisette advised, in your job searches. Jonathan put that in the chat as well. It can help you build your skill sets so that you can be marketable. Take advantage of alumni. You are in a tremendous network. And as Toshe said, very few people say no. The response on PennFlash is in the 80 and 90%. On the same tool in GSE and in Wharton, and the response rate is 30%. There is something special and magic that's happening with PennFlash. And I thank all of you. I thank Brandy for all her work with PennFlash. We want to continue to grow it. And I'm very thankful to Cindy and Leanne for bringing more alums onto our tool and for giving opportunities for students. So thank you, everyone. I'll stay on for a little longer if people want to say hello, but have a wonderful weekend.